Hey everyone, this is Certified High Performance Coach Michelle Warner here with you today. And if you've been following along, we have been talking about Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements, doing a little study and a series on it over the last month. And today we're wrapping that up. But if you've missed any of those videos, you can find them all here. I just need to search through. You'll see them all posted. And I want to highly encourage you, if you have missed any of them, go back and watch them because, I really think that these simple guidelines are really a great way to set yourself on track and to grow and to thrive with just following these four simple agreements. But that being said, what we're going to talk about today is writing your own agreements. Because the truth of the matter is, we have encoded in us some guidelines or some agreements that we made early on in our lifetime. Some values or virtues that were placed upon us as we were growing up. Now, don't get me wrong, there's many that are really, really good. Some great values and virtues that we want to follow, some guidelines that we want to make sure that we carry throughout our lifetime and that we teach to our families and carry on for generations. However, there are some that are ingrained in us that aren't so good. And we need to break free from those limiting beliefs, those things that are not true for us. Maybe they never have been true. Maybe they're just not true for us anymore. Maybe we've learned and we've grown. And if we haven't, now's the time, guys. Now's the time to learn and to grow from those old limiting beliefs that don't serve you anymore. And write your own agreements, write your own new truths for how you want to live your life, the guides that you want for yourself to live your life. So I want to encourage you, but I want to challenge you. Take a good look at some of the beliefs that you've had your whole life and how those are now holding you back, and how you can rewrite those or write new agreements that you're going to keep for yourself in your life. So, let me give you an example. Maybe you grew up with a notion or being taught that money was evil, money was a bad thing. Just using this as an example. And you know what? That's something that was taught to a lot of people in my generation because our parents grew up in a time when maybe there was a lot of lack in the world. I know my dad grew up during the Depression, and so there's oftentimes this belief or this um, guide that we're given that says, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, money's a bad thing. But if that's now further on into your life not serving you because you're maybe hesitant to connect with someone who it has wealth in their life, or you're non-trusting of them, or maybe you yourself struggle to grow to another level, to want or have a desire to create abundant lifestyle for yourself, then that's an old belief that's holding you back. Another example might be, growing up as a kid, maybe unfortunately you had a parent that was in their own struggles and was very difficult with you. Maybe you could never do anything right. And so they said things to you like, what's wrong with you? Why are you always screwing up? And maybe you went through a phase in your life where, through your teenage years, you got off on the wrong track and you were told over and over again, why are you such a screw up? What's wrong with you? Well, those kinds of messages that we get, they get in there and they can often subconsciously really, really hold you back. But the truth of the matter is, first and foremost, if you're following these four agreements that we've been talking about, like being impeccable with your word, not taking anything personally. Don't make assumptions either about yourself or about others, and always do your best. If you're following those, then maybe that old belief isn't affecting you anymore, because you know you don't need to take it personal anymore, because you know it was about that other person in your life that was struggling and pointing a finger at you. But if it's a belief that's still affecting you, it's still, digging in and causing you to hesitate, causing you to not believe in yourself, not believe in your own self-worth, causing you to think that who you are now in your life is not enough, then please, it's time to rewrite those old beliefs. It's time to write your own agreements for yourself. It's time for you to write out the new truth that you want to follow, so that you can show up as your best self, so that you can make sure that that old stuff is not holding you back any longer. So take a little bit of time this week. And again, first of all, if you haven't watched the other videos, please go back and do that. I really want to encourage you to do that. It starts with the practical guide to your personal freedom, because the truth of the matter is, when you break free from those old beliefs, those old agreements, you have the freedom to live your life like you want to. You have the freedom to be the person that you've always wanted to be. So start with that one, and then go through each of those 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. What does that really mean for you? And are you doing it on a regular basis? Not just when you're communicating with other people, but with how you talk to yourself. Are you sticking with your word when you say to yourself, I'm going to change this, or I'm going to achieve this goal, or I'm going to create a new habit in my life that is going to help me live to be my best? Are you following that rule for yourself? Are you being impeccable with your word? The second one, don't take anything personally. When you catch yourself taking something personally, you know that it's holding you captive. It's holding you back. You don't have to take anything that anybody else does or says personally, because everybody's living their own life. Everybody's walking their own walk. And I have seen this so much lately, where people are hurt and they're lashing out and they are blaming and they are categorizing people into one whole big group. And the reality is, you have to know who you are. You've got to stand on that. And that's why actually writing your own agreements is such a powerful thing, because you can know your own truth. You can know who you are. And if it doesn't fit the mold for what others are saying or how they're behaving, know that for yourself. I gotta tell you a perfect example. This just happened to me this past weekend. I realized I was taking something personal. I was taking my husband's behavior personal, and I was totally being offended by something he was saying and the way he was saying it. I was taking it personally, right? And what I realized later was it was all about me. It was all my own stuff coming up, my own limiting beliefs about, well, maybe I don't understand, or I can't figure this out. And so what he was saying was causing me to be really triggered. I was taking his behavior personally. And the truth of the matter is, it was all about me. Well, of course, as you'll see when you go back and watch that video, like, when you take something personally, it creates a tremendous amount of drama in your life. And it did. It caused us to get into an argument. And it was all because I was taking something personal about what he was saying and his behavior that was really all about me, that I had to pull back and recognize it wasn't about me. It was just him being him, and he was showing up and speaking in a way that was true to him, but I was taking it personal. So don't take anything personal. And then the third one, don't make assumptions. And I guess I could probably say in that example that I gave, I was making some assumptions. I was assuming that he thought that I wasn't smart enough about something, or I was assuming that he didn't understand or he didn't get me. And the reality is, when you go back and watch that video on making assumptions, is that you got to communicate. Communication is key there. And once we started communicating clearly, it changed everything. So don't make assumptions. And, sometimes we make assumptions about ourselves. Sometimes our own internal limiting beliefs cause us to make assumptions about those past experiences. and it projects into our future reality. So the last piece then is always do your best. Always do your best. And if those, oh, hi guys, seeing some people pop on. If those old limiting experiences from your past are holding you back from being your best, from being true to yourself, then that's one more reason, one more solid reason why it is so important that you write your own agreements for yourself, that you rewrite those old limiting beliefs, that you rewrite the rules for how you're going to live your life, and that you really start to step into them. So I want to thank you again for joining me today, for joining me for this whole series. And again, remember, if you missed any of those videos, go back and watch them. If you haven't gotten the book yet, you guys, this is such a short, easy read. And I've had people commenting on Instagram and Facebook about reading this book to me. Like, it has been a game changer for them. It is such a simple concept, but so very, very powerful. So grab the book. I'll make sure that I have the link to get the book in here. Read it. It will literally take you a quick weekend. And if you're hanging out on the main shore like some of our watchers are right now, you could be reading this on your relaxing vacation getaway, right? Like, it's an enjoyable read, but it's so profound. So again, this is Certified High Performance Coach Michelle Weimer. I want to thank you for joining me and for always joining me for these videos. And until next week, bye for now.